Welcome back to the channel. The next victim is going to be this older Craftsman LT 1000. I actually got this 2 years ago, 3 years ago now, and I parked it back here and it's been setting. And the guy I got it off of actually said he had it setting for 2 or 3 years, but you know how that goes. If you say 2 or 3 years, it's probably more like 5 or 6. It is an older one. I'm not sure what year it is. It's probably, I want to say the 90s. Actually, it's not. Looks like it might be an 05, according to the number stamp there. But anyway, I have no idea if it runs, if it's seized up or not. So let's drag it back into the garage and see if we can't get her working. Alright, we got the mower in the garage, and let's just take a quick walk around it real quick. You can kind of see a little bit better how the shape that it is in. Body wise, it's not too terribly bad other than the seat. Dash has some rust on it, but the deck, she's going to need a little bit of love. She's all rotted out. But I think the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and pop this hood off and get it out of our way, so we can have a little easier access. And this hood is very easy to take off. Just one wire for your headlights, and somebody already has it off. And just simply tilt it a little bit back, and off she comes. And I have not done anything with this engine. I don't even know if it's freed up. Let's check the oil real quick, see if there is any oil in it. And there is, and don't look terrible, I guess. It doesn't seem to be seized up, so I guess that's a good thing. And let's see what it looks like under here. See how bad this air filter is. It's been sitting outside for a lot of years, and it does not look very good, does it? Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I'd say that's not too good. That could be, well, hopefully it just, I don't know, maybe a mouse ate it or something while it was sitting here. But I'm not really seeing any signs of nesting. But I'm going to take a minute or two and just blow this off with some compressed air. I'm just going to stick this back on here real quick so I don't knock any dirt down inside the intake. Yeah, I guess I'm going to have to get in here a little bit anyway, aren't I? Yeah, that'll do it. Clean the rest off. I'm probably going to have to take off the shroud anyway, clean up under that. Let me see, on this here, I think I got 2 bolts here, 2 bolts in the back, and it should come right up. The 4 bolts are out, so let's see if we can lift this up. I think that'll clear the oil cap. Or did I forget another bolt somewhere? There we go. Let's see if we can get that to fit under. There we are. She's a little dirty. See, all this dirt gets packed up in there like that. This fan actually blows the air down across these fins, and that's what keeps it cool. And when this gets all packed up, you'll overheat it, and you can even loosen up a valve guide in there and have it come off on you. So let's give it a little fuel. Actually, let's crank it over first. Alright, so got full throttle, some gas, and let's crank her. And a phone call. And give her a little gas. throttle's on, and this has an auto choke also. See what happens. What's your bets? I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and take this carburetor off and then just stick my fuel in here and bypass that carburetor. We'll see what happens then. I'm going to go ahead and get that off camera, and I'll bring it back. Alright, now I can just get some fuel right into the cylinder itself, bypassing the carburetor. Let's see if we have any better luck. Good. A little noisy. Has a hole in the exhaust, that's for sure. She's loud. So, alright, that's good. I just wasn't able to get the fuel past the carburetor. It has one of those auto chokes on it. Well, auto choke, I guess it's an auto choke. When you put the throttle all the way up, the choke's on it. But other than that, I think the motor's going to be pretty decent. The compression release is working, because I don't know if you noticed the blow by coming back out. The compression is on the intake valve, and that's why you see that blowing out in a little earlier in the video. So I think right now is probably take this carb apart and let's just see how dirty it is. I don't know that I'm going to bother to show a whole rebuild on that. I'm sure you guys have seen plenty. So let's go over to the bench show. I do want to tear it down and just take a peek and see how dirty it is actually. Now, these anti-backfire valves on here, they really don't leave a lot of room to get a regular wrench in there. I do have one, an old one I ground down, and I just happen to have this. Came in some little tool kit that fits it. They're 1/2 inch. And what this does, and sometimes this is the problem too, where this needle will get hung up and it'll stay in the up position, because when you apply power, you turn your key on, the electromagnetic in it draws that pin down and it opens up your jet that's up in there, and when you turn the key off, it pops up and that little rubber seal will seal off any fuel from going in there, and that's supposed to keep it from backfiring. But let's open her up to see how bad it looks inside, and I'm going to say not too good. She's got some crusties in there, definitely. So that's not good. Let me see if I can knock that out and grab my needle nose. I have to grab my needle nose. A lot of times these carbs, they're sometimes it's getting to the point where it's not even worth rebuilding them when they get this bad, because if you get corrosion, you know, the aluminum tends to oxidize, and sometimes in there you may block up a passage in there, and it's near impossible. Even with an ultrasonic cleaner, it's near impossible to get that out. And carburetors are what, about $30, $35. It is a hit and miss. I don't know. I need a thinner screwdriver. I'll be right back. See if we can get the jet out. I don't think I got one that's too fat. Wait a minute, I got her. Let's see if I can break her loose. Yeah, there she goes. I can feel a little crud in there. It's binding up. I think what I might do, if it binds up again, I'll run it through the ultrasonic cleaner and then try to take it out. I think that's what I'm going to do. This screwdriver here, I've actually ground down the sides of it to make it more straight to fit in there, but probably need to do that a little bit more. And I do see some junk in there too. So we're going to leave that one well enough alone for the meantime. And a lot of these, like your air fuel mixture, you can see they got these caps on them now. Keep you from taking them apart. But I'm just going to pop that off, pop this cap off, take that out, set her in the ultrasonic cleaner and see if we can bring it back together. I'd like to save some of these gaskets. That I might have a bowl gasket, because as I mentioned earlier, I'm trying to do this on the cheap, preferably not even spending any money, using just parts I have laying around. But if I got to spend a couple dollars, I will. But anyway, she's in very bad shape. I'm going to put her in the ultrasonic cleaner. Hopefully I can get that out. Then I'll try to push the emulsion tube through, and I'll bring you back when she's all back together. Alright, the carburetor cleaned up pretty well. I'm happy with it. There's a couple gaskets. The bowl gasket shut off valve might be a little questionable. If it leaks, I'll have to replace it. And the needle and seat, I think it'll be okay, but we shall find out. So let's get this back together, get some gas in her. And the other thing I did is I did off camera, I went ahead, took the fuel tank out, cleaned that out, and I do have a new line run to it here. The old one was real bad shape, had holes in it. Yeah, I'll cut it right here. These are actually for plastic tubing. I use the irrigation in my garden, and I put the irrigation in the front lawn. Well, you know, Gary, wouldn't you get all your tools at one time? Might make it easier. Somewhere's I had a pair of regular pliers. Let's use a pair of side cutters. That'll work just as well. And one thing I wanted to do, two actually, I'm going to put a fuel filter. Now this is just a screen because there's no pump on this. It's gravity fed from the tank. You cannot put a regular fuel filter on it. It has to just be one of these screen things. If you had a pump mounted with your fuel tanks in the back down lower and you had a fuel pump, then you would use one of the other ones. So I think what I'm going to do is right about here. Alright, and I guess I could bolt this back up and clean it out a little bit. Get that bolted back on. Something tells me I'll put that right in the wrong spot. Good enough. So I say we put a little gas in it, see if it'll run. Not going to put too much in there in case we got a leak somewhere before we get to our shut-off valve. What do you say? Give her a try, see what happens. Give her a full throttle, some choke. Let me put a little more fuel down to feed her a little bit. Try to get her pumped up. Should be getting it from the tank by now. Should be flowing through there. She should be getting fuel. Let me put a little more gas in it. I think I might actually have to change. Here's what I'm going to do. I don't know. It should. It's a higher level, so it should come up. But it goes down well below. Then it has to push it up in the loop. I told you I had a little extra line in there, so I want to trim that down so there's not that loop, and see if that makes a difference. All right, guys. I thought I was recording, but apparently I wasn't. After that last little clip. You heard me mention that the gas line down here went all the way down, come up because it was too long. So I cut that short, thinking maybe that was the issue. And then as I come over here just to turn my idle circuit, low idle circuit out a little bit more, I realized I have never plugged in my power to my fuel shutoff valve, the anti-backfire valve. So that's why I couldn't get it to start running off the carburetor, because it was blocking off the fuel. But once I realized that, I plugged her in, and then she starts right up. Started right up just like that. So that's all the issue was after I put the carburetor back on. So the engine's taken care of. I think the only thing I'm going to have to do is change the oil in it, need a new air filter, and then after that we're going to get onto the deck, the tires, some other stuff. I did try pumping the tires up, thought I was filming it, broke the stem in this one. It was dry rotted. The other ones did pump up and take some air, but the motor's running pretty good at this point. But as of right now, I'm going to go get lunch, and sometime after that we will start taking a look at the other things, trying to take a look at the deck, see if we can get the deck repaired. I'm rambling right now. Okay, before I go in, I just need to know that it will move on its own power. So didn't mean to run into you, but tranny moves anyway. Now, I'm gonna go eat. Alright guys, it's been several days since that last clip you had just finished watching. So I think the day's plan is going to be to get this thing pushed out, get her power washed up a little bit, get some of this crud off of it, and then after that we'll start tackling this deck and see just how bad it is. So let's get her out and get her washed up. All right, we'll try to do a cold start on this thing since it's been setting. See how well it does. Guess I better turn the fuel on first. And we'll give it a full choke. I have a battery pack hooked up. Let's see if it starts up. I've got nothing. The brake. I gotta put the brake on. Let's try her now. Good. I'll take it. Now she stopped moving. Might have broke the belt. Yep. Broke the drive belt on it. Alright, we got the mower back in. It's all dried off, cleaned up. So what do you say we pull off this mower deck and see just how bad it is, if it is something we can patch and use again, or we'll have to go find something else. And to remove this deck, I'll have a pin here, one on the other side, pin here, and then on the other side over there, there's another pin in addition, and just a cable down here. So let's get that taken care of. I'll try to stay out of your way, but no promises. I don't know last time this thing's even been off. And this here's the engagement cable, which looks like it's half falling apart anyway. There should be a spring up in the front. Which I think I might just slide that deck out a little bit before I pull that. And this is that extra bar. It's just an anti-sway bar. It keeps it from going side to side, is all it does. That out, and this bar should pop right off. This one and then just one more pin up in the front, same we did on the other side. Of course, this one's kind of turned cardiowampus. But we got her. And get that bar out. Alright, so the belt is in sad shape. Better these. And of course the drive belt up on above that's broke too, so we'll get her out. And with everything disconnected, let's see if we can't get the deck slid out and take a look, see just how bad it is. Might have to move the tractor over a little bit. Now I know I'm gonna get hung up a little bit on the under the tractor. Might just be easier to do it this way. And the spring is still hooked up. There we go. Well, So, your opinion, and throw your comment down in the questions, or the questions? In the comment section. We don't have a question section, we got a comment section. How bad do you think this is? Do you think it's repairable? She's got holes eaten in here, all up through there. This is eaten out, big holes. Would you attempt to repair this? Let me know. But what I'm going to tell you is it's not repairable. What do you say we flip this thing up on the side and take a look at these blades and see how bad it is from the underside? Oh, there you go. Somebody's already patched it once with a New Jersey license plate. Boy, I don't know if I want that guy working on my mower. But the blades don't look all that bad. I want to take them off and keep them. But she sure is pooched all the way through. And I just love that license plate. Oh, you know what? There's a sticker. And that says 06. So somebody in 06 lost their license plate. Alright, so I have the new dry belt, but we gotta get the old one off to get the new one on. And you see how it comes up through here, but there's a guide bar right here that helps keep it into the pulley. So I'm going to try to loosen this bolt because the guide bar comes down, bends down. I don't know if you can see that on camera, and it mounts here. So I'm going to try to loosen this bolt right here and see if we can't get that out. Now this is a steel bolt into aluminum housing, so I ain't a little concerned about that, especially with all the years. I'm going to try not to pop you, but that's not going to be a promise. We'll be alright. We'll work it back and forth a little bit if there's any corrosion in there. It seems to be okay though. Hopefully I didn't take the threads out with it. Alright, good. Now I can pull that out a little bit. I can work the belt out past it. It rides through a series of little pulleys. And this one I'm probably gonna have to drop. Well, I can bend that out a little bit. Get that out. And then work her out around this one. Which might have to unbolt this one a little bit to get her down out. And I'm certain I'm probably going to have to undo that to get the new one back in. Because we have to go through here first. And then, oops, sorry guys. Kind of whacking you. Yeah, that's doesn't give much room. I don't know if it's showing on camera, this belt guide there. But the one nut is under this steering knuckle, so I'm gonna try. Yeah, I think I got her. There we go. Much better. Good. Does anybody remember how this went? I think it came around. Am I right or am I wrong? I don't remember. No, it has to go this way. Because I remember that. But it might be this side that goes. It can't be. It has to be this one. Oh, I got it broken. That ain't gonna do no good. That guide's good. This one here is what killed the belt. Right here. I don't know if it's showing up. Well, half of that pulley is missing. There, I think you can see that better now. Half of that pulley's missing. That bearing must have seized up or something happened to it because she's all broke up. So, I'm not going to be able to put a new belt on with that, so I'm going to have to pull that off and go grab a new one. I would say she's a little bit chewed up. Alright, let me go get another one. Alright, I have a new pulley. And it was only about $10.80, so that wasn't too bad. And I think the fun part is going to be trying to get this fed through the frame and lined up with that nut. Because that nut on the other side is in a precarious spot. So we just have to do our best. Take 4. See if I can slide it in place. I think that got it. Now, can I line these up now? The holes they need to go into. There. And there. Now, yeah, tough one. Tricky little bird. We lined up. I think we got it. Good, finally. Now if I could only remember the way the belt went. I think it's something like that. I think it might be easier to take the battery tray out. All right, with the battery tray out, I have a little better access. Look at that, much better. What I noticed I didn't do is put this bolt here back in its home. I better do that first. All right, I'm going to go put the battery back in and see if she moves. All right, I got the belt on. Backpack. Jumper box is hooked up because the battery's dead. Let's start this thing up and see if it moves on its own. First, we're going to have to put the brake on. And this has not started in probably, I don't know, a couple days, couple weeks. So I'll give her full throttle with some choke. I've got to turn the fuel on. That might help. I got an issue with a safety switch now. I don't know if it's the seat. Because when I let off the brake, it wants to stop. Come on. Yeah, I gotta hook the battery pack back up. Forward. Alright, so that's good. It's driving on its own now. And I'm just going to back it up over here, put some air in the tires. Alright, it is running, it is driving. So that's all good, unfortunately, for the deck. So So meantime, I'm going to put a little air in these tires, see how long they hold. I know they kind of went flat, but it sat for a week or two. A couple little things I want to try with that I heard. Stick around and I'll show you what that is. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and pump this up, and then we're going to get on to the rest of this and finish this mower up. Alright, it's been about 24 hours since I filled these tires up with air. The right front seems to have lost the air. The two rears are okay, a little soft, and the left front is fine. That one there, I actually replaced the tire. That's the one that had a broken stem on it. So what I want to do is go ahead and fill this one back up with air, and we'll check to see where it's leaking from. I do see quite a bit of dry rot on the side of the tire, so we'll just fill it up, hit it with a little bit of soapy water, and see what's going on with it. Alright, so we'll pump a little air into it, fill it up, and then we'll hit it with the soapy water and see where it's leaking from. And I do have it jacked up a little bit, and I'll show you why in a couple of minutes. So we're about 18 pounds. We're a little bit more of what should be in there, but that's all right, because it's going to leak out anyway. And a little bit of soapy water. Hopefully, yeah, good, she sprays. Sorry about that. And we can see, I think, right through here, it looks like it's bubbling. We're getting some bubbling up in here and all around this. And that's where can't even think of it now. That's where the dry rot is, right around that tire there, and it's foaming up and leaking out. So I did see a little trick on YouTube, and supposedly it will fix that issue of leaking through that dry rot area. So, and what that is to add a little bit of oil into the tire, and supposedly what that does is it coats the tire and it kind of rejuvenates the rubber and kind of seals it up a little bit. So, does it really work? I guess we're about to find out. So, I'm going to need to remove the stem, and this is why I lifted the tire up off the ground, because I didn't want that pressure on there. You know, well, I guess it really wouldn't have mattered, but there's still a little bit of gap between the stem and the bottom of the ground. And of course, you're pumping it in. Gotta let some out, right? And I'm just going to fill this up. I don't know, it'll be probably just a couple ounces in there. And if it doesn't work, you know, it's no big deal. What did I lose? Not a whole lot, right? I guess the theory is you're driving around, it's going to fling that oil all over everything on the inside and give a good coating. Yeah, worst case scenario, I guess it'll protect the inside of the rim from rusting, huh? Let's get the stem back in. And we will fill it up and spin it around a little bit, and then we'll take it out. We'll take it out and drive it around a little bit. We'll really fling it around on the inside. And we're about 12, I think it was, PSI, give or take. So, always wanted to try that, see if it works. That's going to take care of the tires for now, and if it doesn't work, I do have some other ones I can throw on there. So the next thing that I want to get tackled is this seat. This seat is in deplorable condition, and it's not very comfortable to sit on either. So what I have over here is another seat that I had parted out another lawnmower on, and it looks as if it's the same mounting system, so it should be a rather easy swap. So let me get you back in the stand and we'll get on this. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to have to do is get this safety undone, which should only take a second. It's that simple. And I will have to get that wire loom unplugged from there. So I'm going to take out this bolt, the bolt on the other side, and that should free that right up and come right off. And the other seat is set up the same way. I could take these bolts off, but I think that's just going to be more of a hassle. It'll be easier just to get these on the side, use the bottom portion of this bracket here. And the other side. There's the nuts. Get the bolt out. Hit your shoulder bolt. And off with the seat. And on with the new seat. Now, one thing I did, you know what? That's not the same size. That's not the same size. So I am going to have to change that bracket. Bummer. And another thing that I just noticed is the seat safety switch is it's a 4-prong on the old or the new seat, and the old one has a 2-prong. So worst case scenario, we'll just bypass that for now. Not really that worried about that. So I'm going to have to take this battery back out, get back up to the nuts on the other side. Alright, to get around to the issue of the seat safety, again, that is a 4-prong on the seat we're going to use, and this is a 2-prong. This would be used, like it's got like 2 different wires going to it, you know, the way to circuit. It's nothing big deal. And usually this is either a naturally open or naturally closed. On it, I didn't check to see what it is. I think on this it is naturally open, if I'm not mistaken. But easy enough to change out. Already took this off the old seat. We took off the mower. Simply going to remove these couple nuts right here. And there are springs under here, but they should stay. And then put these little nuts down and get them out of my way. And then you just got these tabs right here. Simply push them in, and then it should slide right through. Until you put it on camera, then it doesn't. Now see if you want to play nice. Ha! Changed its mind, didn't it? So out with the old. And in, I gotta make sure I got it the right way. Uh-oh. Well, guess we ran into another little problem, didn't we? Let me, I know the seat bracket on the other had a larger diameter or smaller, whichever way. Let me see if these line up. If it does, then I'll just use the whole plate. Probably should have just looked at that first. And will it line up? Yeah, okay, good. We can just use that one. And I think it goes that way. There we go. That should do it. And then, again, this is spring loaded, so when you sit on the seat, it compresses and pushes that right there. So, get the little nuts back on. Come on now, be nice. And zip them down. Good. All right, so I went ahead and I just switched over the the bracket mounted it here, had to take the battery out, no big deal, 2 bolts, simple enough. And now, with the new seat, we should be able to install it fairly easy. Fairly easy, I say. How fairly is that? And then a bolt for this side. I'm sure you can see nothing but my arm, right? All right, so 2 bolts are in, just gotta tighten them down, put the nuts on them. And we should be good to go. Just give them tighten down a little bit. Oh, I am sorry about that. I did not mean to knock you in the head. So that all looks like it's going to work pretty good. And the seat is, yeah, the seat's already back all the way. So I would say that's a much better improvement. Get the light out of your way. I'm sure that's probably washing it. So that looks so much better, doesn't it? But I did remember there is yet one more thing I have to do, and that is put the shroud back on the motor. Because as I mentioned, I think I mentioned earlier, that shroud actually directs, this is a fan, and it actually directs the air down or over and then down, cooling the head. That's why it's also important to keep this clean. So let me get that on and we'll fire it up. All right, now I do not have an air filter for this rate yet. I am going to do a oil change, filters and everything else. So I'm not really going to run this mower that much without it, but I do want to take it for a little test ride. Make sure she's running all right. I think my shroud's hitting a little bit, but we're going to take it for a ride anyway. Starts bouncing all over. All right, guys, so there may be a couple more little issues to tackle with it. I think maybe when I put that shroud piece in here, it's dragging on something rattling, but overall, I'm quite surprised with it. I do have quite a bit of cleaning to do. Like I said, oil change, got to get an air breather. That's why I don't want to drive it too much, but you know, new belt, new pulley, it all seems to run pretty good. Tire, not sure what's going to be the verdict on the tire yet, but you know, we'll see, right? So anyway, I want to thank you for hanging out with me in the garage today, doing a little wrenching, and appreciate it if you would hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next video.